Manchester United 2, Liverpool 2. Are Liverpool still in a title race? Yes, of course they are. Of course they are. It's not over. There's 7 games left. A lot of football to be played, a lot of points to be won and lost. And I think both Arsenal and Manchester City will drop points. I also think Liverpool will probably drop points between now and the end of the season. But let's stick to Old Trafford today and maybe have a look at what went wrong and what went right for the Reds. Obviously, 2 minutes in or whatever it was, Garnacho scores a goal. It's obviously offside, but then there's like the first warning signs that the Reds were maybe reverting to some of the tropes they've created about themselves this season, and one is obviously conceding early. They got away with that a little bit. Opening 15 minutes was kind of chaotic. United really playing on the front foot. Old Trafford crowd up and at them. Liverpool hanging on a little bit at times, and then it turned into a really good control performance, shutting up the whole crowd, putting passes together, and then after about 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, Liverpool were in complete control of the game. McAllister was getting on the ball more. He was getting man-marked throughout the game. I've noticed, obviously, the league is aware of the threat that he possesses and how much he makes the Liverpool team tick. So there were a couple of big calls, I think, in the Liverpool lineup. Ibrahim Konate didn't start. Apparently, he felt something. He didn't feel 100% right. I think he would have started there if he was totally fit. And Klopp went for João Quansah, who I thought had a good game, apart from a couple of moments. One of those moments, obviously, was a big mistake, which led to United to equalise. A fantastic strike from Fernandes, great awareness. Just one of those things. I think even the senior players could probably make those kind of mistakes, and it's just one that you've got to just put down as one of those things. I was impressed with his reaction after making that mistake. He's obviously gutted. He's obviously going to be thinking about it all week. And he was physical for the rest of the game. He got stuck in. Maybe tried a little bit hard with, I think there was a point later on the goal with a cross-field pass that he made. And then United cut it out, countered, and nearly scored. That wasn't great. But apart from that, I think Quansah did relatively well. The other big call for me was you got McAllister, Szoboszlai. The last couple of games we've seen McAllister playing that right-hand side midfield berth, Szoboszlai on the left. Szoboszlai looks less influential in that left-hand side, and that was switched today, even though McAllister kind of gets around a little bit, but he was predominantly doing his work from the left-hand side of midfield, and I don't think it's as effective. I think he's got to be in that right-hand channel, because we've seen how it seems like some of the chances he creates are almost directly in front of him. You know, the way he can kind of, chip balls across and look for those through balls, really feed in Darwin Núñez on his right foot, and Mohamed Salah, who obviously cuts inside. I'm not sure that was an experiment that really worked today. Maybe he didn't fancy Curtis Jones for the game. Maybe Curtis, obviously coming back from injury, not ready for 90 minutes. Or maybe Szoboszlai was just a more direct player that he was looking for today to break the lines a little bit. But I don't think that really worked. And I think Szoboszlai, his place is under threat, I think, from Curtis Jones. Liverpool looked better later on when Jones came on and got a bit more control over the game. It turned a bit chaotic, obviously, after Manchester United equalised and then went a goal ahead. Liverpool's heads went. Liverpool turned into a bit of a mess, really. And normally you'd say those kind of moments when it is total chaos, kind of usually that's an advantage for Liverpool. But it really wasn't today. It was much better for Manchester United. Liverpool in this game just looked so much better when they were in control, when they had clear heads, when they just made the ball and their own movements do the talking. It took a little while after United's second goal, great goal by the way, for Liverpool to really settle. There was a change in shape. Jurgen Klopp switched. I think it looked like he was playing 4-4-2 there with Elliott out wide right, Mo Salah up the top with Gakpo, Diaz on the left. And it took a while there for Liverpool to regain the composure, but they did, and they found a way to get themselves back in the game. Moments of madness from Aaron Wan-Bissaka on Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott's excellent again, really forced the issue and won the penalty. And obviously, I didn't fancy Mo Salah to score the penalty, hands up. I was kind of thinking maybe this should be McAllister, but Mo pulls rank. The ball's getting blown everywhere in the wind. I'm like, I don't fancy this at all. But fair play to Mo, who I thought was a little bit poor today. In all honesty, he stepped up in this, like a massive, massive moment. And where, like the immediate reaction, I think, after the game is that's 2 points lost. I'm sure City and Arsenal fans would have been loving it, rightfully so. As a Liverpool fan, thinking, yeah, that is 2 points lost. But really, like Jurgen Klopp's philosophical about it before the match. He's saying it's, we've got a point more than we did before the game, and Old Trafford's a tricky place to go to, etc. And he's right, and there's a long way to go. We're at the business end of the season, no doubt, but there's a long way to go. But what was maybe disappointing from Liverpool is that in many ways this was, a kind of deja vu from the FA Cup tie at Old Trafford a few weeks ago, which I thought had a different flavour to it because it was a cup tie. But in this game, there was periods there when it felt like a cup tie. It felt chaotic, it felt end-to-end at times, a lot of space on the pitch, players maybe getting letting that occasion get to them rather than trying to play their own game to the best of their own ability. And you think Liverpool would have learned the lessons last time when they had so many shots, so many opportunities, and couldn't put the game to bed. It was exactly the same today at Old Trafford. United faced 28 shots against Liverpool, which is their most on record in a Premier League game at Old Trafford. 28 shots, it's bananas. I think there was 5 big chances missed out of 7 for Liverpool. Home and away, United have faced 62 shots against Liverpool this season. It's crazy that we've only scored a handful of goals against them, and we should have dominated them results-wise as well as dominated them performance-wise. At half-time, I think the stats again, the writing was on the wall there. Liverpool had 15 shots and United had 0, and you're thinking all Liverpool got to do in the second half is more of the same, but just be clinical. And it wasn't to be. And really, I think games like this, you've got to look to Darwin Núñez. You really have. I thought he was excellent in Liverpool's goal. It was a brilliant header. He meant it totally. Obviously, everyone's was focused on Virgil van Dijk. So he was excellent. I've got to be fair to him. He's excellent in that goal. But that chance he kind of had where he's looking to square it back to Szoboszlai, thinking, Darwin, you're the number 9. This should be your bread and butter. I know we've maybe accused him of being too selfish or not aware of what's going on around him. So maybe he's trying to improve that aspect of his game. But really, 3 yards out, even at a tight angle, it's like, this should be your bread and butter, Darwin. And it's in these situations when you need a striker that's clinical. And it's not him. It really isn't. At the moment, anyway, and I think we need more from him. There's still time, and there's still time this season for him to be the hero. It's up to Jurgen Klopp really to put the arm around the shoulder and explain to Núñez what's expected of him for the rest of the season in certain roles. And he got hooked quite rightfully, I think, and Liverpool looked better for the substitutions again. Again, just looking at the XG. If you love XG, and I know some people do, I'm not that fussed myself, but it does paint a picture of how the game was played out. I think United's was 0.71, Liverpool's was 3.59. That shows what the scoreline should have been, really. But football, obviously, isn't like that. It doesn't matter what your XG is. It matters what your G is at the end of the day. And fair play to Man United. They somehow managed to find a result, got a valuable point, nearly got 3 for them in a game which they look kind of terrible for large parts of it, kind of amateur for large parts of it, but there's a few really, really good individual players in there. So yeah, Liverpool, what's next for them? They've got Atalanta on Thursday, a big game, like they're all big games now, but I think there's a little bit of room for rotation there. There's some players coming back. Maybe Curtis might get a start against Atalanta, get some more minutes in his legs. But league-wise, it's Crystal Palace at home. I don't know about you, but I can't handle another stress fest of 90 minutes of pure hell. But that's part of the course in it of being a football fan at this end of the season. And I'd rather we're going through this than what we've had in previous seasons where we've got nothing to play for, in the middle of April. Can Liverpool do it? Of course they can, but let's just see what happens. I think it's going to go down to the last day, and I still think any one of those top three clubs can win. I think out of this weekend, I think Man City are probably the real winners, even though Arsenal are top of the league. I think City have got the most winnable run of games in the run-in, and would be hoping that the maybe European adventures get in the way. Same with Arsenal. Where I was a bit gutted at the end of 90 minutes against United, I'm kind of a little bit more kind of philosophical about it now. Enjoy the rest of the week and then turn on to the Reds again next week. Up the Reds.